All right, guys, I keep getting texts. Everyone wants me to come out. Everybody's got different plans, and they're like, hey, the restaurant's still letting us stay here. Even though they're technically closed, we can still eat here. We want you to come over. And I said to my son, I said, look, when someone breaks their word to me, that's pretty much it. And I said, you have fun and enjoy yourself. And he's like, how about you come? We'll figure it out. You can come over here. You can come over here. And usually, and I had talked to somebody about this in business too, and they felt the same way. I had a business meeting last week. It was so good to see this guy keep his word. I'm like, it is so good to see you keep your word. He's like, I get the feeling by that comment, not many people keep their word. And I'm like, no, they don't. And so we had talked about this in ethics class. We talked about, where do you draw the line? Other people's standards may not be yours when it comes to keeping their word, but the boundary for me is if somebody breaks their word, it's going to take a while for me to reschedule. I have four people right now. Four people right now in my networking who had to reschedule, and I have not gotten back to them because I that is one thing I'm going to build my business on is keeping your word. It's very important. Actually, five people who can't keep their word. Five people who I have to reschedule with. And I am not doing it right now because keeping your word is like gold, right? If you keep your word, you're trustworthy. And that's something that I want to build my business on. So I said, no, another time. I said, I'm going to have a quiet night. You all go have fun. So I have no problem enjoying my own company. I actually am with people so much that I'm just full. It's just hard for me to be with people a lot because I have so much going on in my life. But there's fireworks. So much going on. So busy that I'd rather have time to myself and have a quiet life than to be out all the time. And as a matter of fact, if I was still with my husband, other than doing my own business, I would be home with him every night. There would be nothing for me to be like, oh, I want to go out and do this and do that. I do enjoy going out with people if it has purpose and, it has a reason behind it, but you would never see me at a bar hanging out like my husband is, just going, being idle and doing nothing. You would never see that from me because time is so valuable to me. I number my days. I only have a short time here on earth. We know that, and I'm not just going to waste my life being idle. So I have too many good things, too many good choices. And why would I choose? Why would I choose, basically the pig pen like he is? So those are my standards. And back to talking about a strip club. Like I said, not unless I was totally destitute. And even then, I would have to not be able to find a job. I would have to really, really be homeless and on the streets and have nothing. And the other reason why I would not be in a strip club is because my husband would have double judgment because he left me and he left me with nothing. And if you do that to somebody and you knowingly leave them with nothing and they have to go demoralize themselves in order to be able to have food, you are doubly accountable for what you did. So, I've got one son. I got my paycheck and I said, okay, here's 50 for this son because we're going out for a birthday that I just didn't get to and he didn't know what he wanted to do. I said, I owe my other son, $50. Here goes that. I want to spend money on this right now. And then and then my other son who lives in another state, I will send him money regularly on Cash App so he never has to feel like, that he would have to do anything to demoralize himself in order to survive. And plus, I have another son that I am willing to lay down my life and look out for him and be committed to him. That's, my life. My life, I'd rather be doing whatever I want to do. I'm an empty nester, but my sons still need support. And I would never be like, forget you and let me put myself first. And what my husband has done, guys, my ex-husband, is just deplorable. It's absolutely deplorable that he put his family under the bus and chose to go under the name of freedom, go live a life that's pretty disgusting. It pretty is. Instead of choosing to be good and choosing to, uh, love his wife and support his family and care about somebody other than himself. It's a total selfish life. And this is why I say he needs help. I'll always love my Benny, but he has definitely gone toward the world, the emptiness of the world, and he has chosen money over his family. He's chosen to spend money on alcohol when his family here doesn't even have money sometimes for food on the table. That's what he chose to do, and this is what he chose to do to his family. And there's been a lot of up and downs. Colorado is a tough place to find work and everything. But for some people, it is. And as I get my business going, money's not going to be an issue anymore for me. But he left his family with absolutely nothing. He did leave us destitute. He did. And I had to call churches to take the help. I didn't go off and go strip and take off my clothes and do pornography and all that crap. I called the churches for help. And this is what he did to his family. And people are like, he is so evil, Melissa. I have people all the time saying, he's such a freaking bastard and he's evil and everything. And yeah, he is. And, it's so evil that it's beyond comprehension. And, even his sons can't understand why dad left. What did they do wrong, right? And of course, they didn't do anything wrong. What did they do, right? I had one son tell him off, but that's because he copied his dad's behavior, right? Because his dad's walking around, swearing at his wife and everything. So, it's just really deplorable the way he has chosen to behave, and that makes me feel that he doesn't really know God. And so, when you love God, I absolutely love God, and you have his parents always saying, you need to honor us. You're supposed to honor your parents. Why would I honor people who don't even love God? What is there to honor? Yes, you can love them, but what are you honoring? Oh, that you hate God? I can't honor that. There's no way I can honor people who like to make fun of people who have faith. What is honorable about that? So you try to find something. So I'm like, okay, they actually had him, even though she believes in abortion. I'm like, okay, so she had him. Why? Why did she even have him? Because she didn't really want him. Uh, you know? So, very little. Okay, they put food on the table. Okay, yeah, they also were very mean to him, too. Let me see. What else can I honor? Honoring your parents is just that position that they are your parents. It doesn't mean they deserve it. It doesn't mean that they earned it. They didn't do anything to deserve it. It's just a matter of saying, you honor a certain position. It doesn't mean you have to hang around with them too if they're still rotten to you. So, you can love people. You share the gospel with them. That's why I'm on here. I have shared the gospel with my family, and end of the times are coming. And whether they want to hear it or not, that's up to them. Just like in Noah's day, In Noah's day, everybody was laughing at Noah when he built the ark. No one believed it. And so they can do what they want, but you did your part. So what my husband did to his family, he is going to answer to God for. That's, people are like, how can you still love him, Melissa, the way he's so evil? It's probably because I understand him. I understand the way he thinks, and I know he just doesn't understand that there's more in Christ. He has not grown to love God in a way he should. And because of that, the only tools he knows how to use is his own self and his own pride. Instead of, he won't go to God and just be like, God, forgive me for what I've done. I totally mistreated Melissa, Alex, Jake, Vinny, Mick, Zach. I threw my family under the bus to get ahead. And, Jesus, I need you. Instead of repenting and being like, I totally am at, what, he chose to go his own way. And it's an idol in his heart. It's an idol of self instead of God. So when we have God in our heart and we love him, we're going to be like, God, what do you want? Jesus said, he who doesn't lay his life down daily for me, daily, cannot be my disciple. You can't, you're not worthy. So, being a Christian, guys, is a pretty high standard. And my girlfriend's parents are Christians, and we would have had a great time tonight. But that's for another time. But being a Christian is not just a name. It is responsibilities. It's pretty much, being committed not only to what God has taught, but loving Him with all your heart. So when you love yourself more, you're going to act like this. And that's why, Christ has called me, despite my husband's behavior, to love him despite his behavior. And I can do that from a distance. I pray for him. I pray he'll come to his senses. He's just gone totally off the wall. And he needs some love and care. And instead, he's going the wrong way, and he's going right downhill.